Hello everyone! I have mentioned Minggoy. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Lizel Minggoy po ang inyong lingkod at nagsasabing, business, mind on your business. Magandang gabi po ulit. Ang asim. Asim? Maasim? Asim talaga. Ayoko na. Maasim? Okay, let's proceed to our topic. Our topic for today is the continuation pa din po ng collection of real property tax. Article 7. Okay, so let's proceed. Okay, guys. Our topic for today is collection of real property tax. Article 7 and then dito na po tayo sa Section 15. Nakaraan kasi kong video yung ginawa ko about nakaraang video is section 13, 14. So, ngayon naman section 15. So, section 15, it's about filing fee. Filing fee. So, the Quezon City Board of Assessment Appeals. We have item A, any owner of any owner or person having legal interest in the property who is not satisfied with the action of the city assessor in the assessment of his property may, within 60 days from the date of receipt of the written notice of the assessment, appeal to the Quezon City Board of Assessment appeals by filing a petition under oath in the form prescribed for the purpose and upon payment of a filing fee of 100 pesos. The Quezon City Board of Assessment Appeals shall act on the appeal of the assessment in accordance with the provisions of Chapter 3, Book 2, Title 2 of the Local Government Code of 1991. So, let's proceed, guys, to Section 16. Section 16, it's about the administrative provisions. Diba? Hinahangin kasi yung hair. Administrative provisions. So, we have here item A, on the appraisal and assessment of real property. Number 1, appraisal of real property. All properties, whether taxable or exempt, shall be appraised at the current and fair market value prevailing in the city in accordance with the rules and regulations promulgated by the Department of Finance for the classification, appraisal, and assessment of the real property portion to the provision of the 1991 Local Government Code. Number 2, declaration of real property by the owner or administrator. Ito po it shall be the duty of all persons, natural or juridical, owning or administering real property, including the improvements within the Quezon City, or their duty authorized representatives to prepare or cause of to be prepared and file with the city assessor. A sworn statement declaring the true value of their property, whether previously declared or undeclared, taxable or exempt, which shall be the current and fair market value of the property, as determined by the declarant. Such declaration shall contain a description of the property sufficient in detail to enable the city assessor for his deputy to identify the same for declaration of real property herein referred to shall be filed with the city assessor once every 3 years during the period of January 1st to June 30th, commencing from the calendar year 1994. For this purpose, the city assessor shall use the standard form known as the sworn declaration of the property values, prescribed by the Department of the Finance. The procedures in filing and safekeeping thereof shall be in accordance with the guidelines issued by the said department. Number 3, guys, ito yung administrative penalty. Administrative penalty, failure to file the required sworn declaration of property values or the prescribed period. A penalty of 50 pesos shall be imposed against the declarant for each and every tax declaration. Number 4. Duty of person acquiring real property or making improvement thereon. In duty of person acquiring real property or making improvement thereon, we have item A. Item A, it shall be the duty of any person or any authorized representative acquiring any real property situated in the Quezon City or making any improvement on the real property to prepare or cause to be prepared and file with the city assessor sworn statement declaring the true value of the true value of subject property within 60 days after the acquisition of such property or upon completion or occupancy of the improvement, whichever comes first. B. In the case of houses, buildings, or other improvements acquired or newly constructed, which will require building permits, property owners or their authorized representatives shall likewise file a sworn declaration of the true value of the subject house, building, or other improvements within 60 days after. Within 60 days after. One. Uy, namumove yung camera. Ano ba yan? Wait lang. Oops. Number 1, the date, 60 days after 1, the date of duly notarized final deed of sale, contract, or other deed of conveyance, conveyance, covering the subject property executed between the constructing parties. Number 2, the date completion of occupancy or the newly constructed building house, or improvement, whichever comes first. And number 3, the date of completion or occupancy of any expansion, renovation, or additional structures or improvements made upon any existing building, house, or other real property, whichever comes first. Okay, so letter C, and in the case of machinery, the 60-day period for filing the required sworn declaration of property values shall commence to the date of installation thereof. For the purpose, the city assessor may be secure from the city engineer. Number 5, declaration of real property by the city assessor. Letter A, when any person, natural or juridical, by whom real property is required to be declared, refuses or fails for any reason to make such declaration within the time prescribed, the city assessor shall himself declare the property in the name of the defaulting owner and shall assess the property for taxation in accordance with the provisions of the article. Letter B, in the case of real property discovered whose owner or owners are unknown, the city assessor shall likewise declare the same in the name of the unknown owner until such time that a person, natural or juridical, comes forth and files the sworn declaration of property values required. Section 16B and D. Okay, so letter C, no oath shall be required of declaration thus made by the city assessor. Number 6, listing of real property in assessment rules. Letter A, the city assessor shall prepare and maintain the assessment rule wherein all real property shall be listed, whether taxable or exempt, located within the territorial jurisdiction of the city. Sorry guys, napulol ako. Real property shall be listed, valued, and assessed in the name of the owner or administrator or anyone having legal interest in the property. B, the real property of a corporation, partnership, or association shall be listed, valued, and assessed in the manner as that of an individual. Number 7, real property identification system. All declarations of real property made under the provisions of this article shall be kept and filed under a uniform classification system to be established by the city assessor pursuant to the guidelines issued by the Department of Finance DOF for the purpose. Number 8, notification of transfer of real property ownership we have here item A, sa notification of transfer of real property ownership. Any person who shall transfer real property ownership to another shall notify the city assessor within 60 days 60 days from the date of such transfer. Item B, the notification shall include the copy of the mode of transfer, the description of the property alienated, alienated, the name and address of the transferee. Number 9, preparation of the schedule of fair market value. We have item A. Before any general revision of property, assessment is made pursuant to the provisions of this article. There shall be prepared a schedule of fair market values by the city assessor for the different classes of real property situated by the city for enactment into a separate ordinance by the Sangguniang Panglungsod. The approved schedule of fair market values. Ano pong moving camera? The approved schedule of fair market values shall be published in the newspaper of general circulation in the city or posted in two other conspicuous public places therein. Item B, in the preparation of the schedule of fair market values, the city assessor shall be guided by the rules and regulations issued by the Department of Finance. Okay, so number 10, we have the authority of the city assessor to take evidence. So the authority of city assessor to take evidence for the purpose of obtaining information on which to base the market values of any real property. The city assessor to his deputy may summon the owners of the properties to be affected or persons having legal interest therein and witnesses administer oath and take deposition concerning the property, its ownership, amount, nature, and value. Number 11, amendment of the schedule of fair market values. So, amendment of schedule of fair market values. The city assessor may recommend to the Sangguniang Panglungsod amendments to correct errors. Pag sinabi kasing amendments, ito na yung yung may papalitan ka, like may mali, yan, to correct errors, so itatama mo siya, i-amend mo siya. To correct errors of valuation and the schedule of fair market values, the Sangguniang Panglungsod shall act upon the recommendation within 90 days from receipt thereof. So, number 17, special provisions. Special provisions, A, we have item A, the expenses incidental to the general revision of real property assessment shall be shared by the city government, the barangays, and city school board at the rate of their percentage sharing on the distribution of real property tax collection. We have item B. It shall be the duty of the register of deeds of require every person who shall present for registration of document of transfer, alienation or encumbrance of the real property to accompany the same with the certificate to the effect that the real property subject to transfer, baka magpupunta naman ang camera, to transfer alienation or encumbrance, as the case may be, has been fully paid at the uh, has been fully paid at the of all real property taxes due thereon. Yung aking mata. Ha? Pipikit na. Failure provides such certificate shall be a valid cause for registration of deeds to refuse the registration of the document. Pursuant to Section 209 of the 1991 Local Government Code, the Register of Deeds shall likewise prepare and submit to the city assessor as abstract of his registry, which shall include brief but sufficient descriptions of properties entered therein, their present owners and dates of their most recent transfer of alienation, accompanied by the by copies of corresponding deed of sale, donation, partition, or other form of alienation. So letter C, the Register of Deeds and notaries public shall furnish the city assessor with one copy of every contract of instrument sealing, transferring, or otherwise conveying, leasing, or mortgaging, or asan na ba ako? Real property registered by or acknowledged before them within the first 5 days of the succeeding month after 30 days for the date of registration or acknowledgement. They letter D, any public official or employee who may now or hereafter be required by law or regulation to issue to any person a permit for the construction, addition, repair, or renovation of a building, a permanent improvement on land, or a certificate of registration for any machinery, including machines, mechanical contrivances, and apparatus attached or affixed on land or to another property, shall transmit a copy of such permit or certificate within 30 days of its issuance and to the city assessor. Said official shall likewise furnish the city assessor with the copies of the building floor plans and other certificates of registration or installation of other machineries which may not permanently or temporarily attach land or another real property, but falling under the definition of the term machinery and the rules and guidelines issued by the Department of Finance. We have here letter E. It shall be the duty of all geodetic engineers, public or private, to furnish free of charge the city assessor with a white or blueprint copy of each of all approved originals and subdivision plans or maps of surveys executed by them within 30 days from receipts of such plans from the Land Management Bureau the Land Registration Authority or the Housing and Land Use Regulatory Board, as the case may be. Letter If insurance companies are hereby required to furnish the city assessor copies of any contract or insurance policy on buildings, structures, improvements, and machineries insured by them of the other documents necessary for the assessment thereof. Kung unang pumikiyat. Okay, letter G. All real property assessment notices or owner's copies of tax declarations sent through the mails by the city assessor shall be exempt from the payment of the postal charge or fees. Letter H. H. The new assessment levels rates of levy, special levies on real property, and tax on idle land provided in the code shall only apply after the effectivity of the general revision required under section 219 of the 1991 local government code. Section 18, guys, we have our penalty provisions. Penal provisions. Letter A, any officer charged with the duty of assessing the real property who willfully fails to assess or who intentionally omits from the assessment or tax roll of any real property which he knows to be taxable or minor message, or who willfully or negligently assists any real property, or who intentionally violates or fails to perform any duty imposed upon him by law relating to the assessment of taxable real property nanghingi ako ng Indian mango. Awesome. Okay. Assessment of taxable real property shall upon conviction to furnish by imprisonment or not less than 1 month, more than 6 months, or by fine or not less than 1,000 pesos, nor more than 5,000 pesos, or both such imprisonment and fine at the discretion of the court. The same penalty shall be imposed upon any officer charged with the duty of collecting the tax due of real property who willfully or negligently fails to collect the tax and institutes the necessary proceedings for the collection of the same. Any other officer required by law to perform acts relating to the administration of real property tax to assist the city assessor or city treasurer in such administration who willfully fails to discharge such duties shall, upon conviction, be punished by the imprisonment not less than 1 month nor more than 6 months, or by a fine of not less than 500 pesos, nor more than 5,000 pesos, or both such imprisonment and fine in the discretion of the court. On the discretion of the court. We have here item B. Any government official who intentionally and deliberately delays the assessment of real property from filing any appeal against the assessment shall, upon conviction, be punished by imprisonment not less than 1 month, nor more than 6 months, or by fine or not less than 500 pesos, nor more than 5,000 pesos, or both such imprisonment and fine, the discretion of the court. We have our letter C. This is the last letter C. So, the city treasurer, guys, when to dispose the delinquent real property at public auction in compliance with the pertinent provisions of this code, and any other public official whose acts hinder the prompt disposition of delinquent real property at public auction shall, upon conviction, be subject to imprisonment or not less than 1 month, more than 6 months, or by fine not less than 1,000 pesos, nor more than 5,000 pesos, or both such imprisonment and fine at the discretion of the court. Imprisonment. So that's the end of our topic for today. In John Mingo. Awesome siya. Uh, so, good evening again to all of you. Stay tuned to my YouTube channel, guys. Sana po panoorin nyo pa po ang aking YouTube channel, Lizelle Mingolio Vlogs. Okay, so thank you very much, guys, for watching my YouTube channel. Lizelle Mingolio po ang inyong lingkod at nagsasabing business, mind on your business. Thank you very much. Bye-bye!